Well, this is Professor Dr. Zia Ahmed, and I am going to record for you people this short video on part 2 of Virginia Woolf's novel, To the Lighthouse. Part two's title is Time Passes, and we shall see how quickly the time passes in that. This time passing is about the life of human beings, life of nature, and the kind of thinking we have. So let us see what happens in the first chapter of this part 2 of Virginia Woolf's novel, To the Lighthouse. The first chapter is nothing other than it goes to indicate the darkness which is going to come into the environment in the winter season and into the life of the people because of death. So that is why it is being said that this is night time and no lights should be kept burning. The darkness should prevail, darkness should be established, and that is why the advice is given to everyone to shut down the lights, but one person, Mr. Carmichael, will keep the vigil by keeping his candle on. And this goes to show that although darkness is there, but life is also there. The shine is also there. The light is also there. So light and darkness are going to play a big role in this part of the novel. Similarly, if we shift on to chapter 2, the very first passage is about number of things which relate with each other, like nature, the plantation, the environment, and the rising of the sun, rising of the moon, and coming of the rain. It's a kind of development which has been shown by different situations. For example, in the first line, the poet says that moon sung, thin rain drumming on the roof, downpouring, immense darkness began. So, because of the rain, because of the clouds, the darkness has become even more dark, and that is going to show that something dark is going to happen in this part of the story. And therefore, it can be found that rain is everywhere, water is everywhere, and the windows are blind. And that is why, again and again, it is being stressed that darkness is spreading. For example, it is being said that it's not possible to recognize who he is and who she is on the beach, and therefore nobody should go there because that is the height of that darkness. So, again, the second chapter, the darkness has been stressed upon in order to let us know that there are two parts of the life. One is that of the daylight, other is that of the night darkness, and both of these represent life and death of humanity also. And as a result of over stress on this darkness, one can imagine that the writer is going to introduce something which will be about death of a significant character in the story. And for this purpose, we need to go to chapter 3 to find out what has happened actually. This chapter is about the death of Mrs. Ramsay, because she's the light, she's the lighthouse, and the light is going to disappear, and as a result, darkness would come into the lives of the many. So, chapter 3 is about the death of Mrs. Ramsay, although we do not find any scenes as we see in the movies, somebody dying, having hicks or the kind of movements which are shown to be at the time of death. Even we don't find out Miss Ramsay anywhere, just one information is given to us in the end of the chapter. However, the writer has used some of the words that I have indicated in the green portions or green highlights. That is, some of the birds are mentioned here, cocks and crows, and faint green quickens, like a turning leaf into the hollow of wave. So that leaf is at the mercy of the wave when it blows, and that is why it's being said that everything is happening like the leaf. Night, however, succeeds night. One night is there, and when the morning time comes, there is nothing which may increase the light because of the darkness of clouds, because darkness of winter season. So night after night comes. So night and its darkness is again being stressed in order to let us know that something dark is going to happen. According to the writer, more and more darkness comes up. There is no brightness at all, and she compares it with the kind of burn far away in Indian sands. What burns away? How bones bleach and burn. In India, we know the Hindu followers of Hindu religion, they burn up their bodies sometime in the past, and as a result, hint is being given to death again, and the disappearance of the human being because of the death again. And writer also says and uses this sentence by saying The autumn trees gleam in the yellow moonlight. So moonlight is also yellow, and the trees on which autumn has come, they are only shining. This is the part of life which will be available even at the time when darkness is there. Again, the poet stresses by saying, the nights now are full of wind and destruction. Nights are of darkness, and they are airy, very much windy, but the destruction is also there. And that destruction comes on nature also. When the leaves fall down, the leaves fly, when everything is flying in the same way, that can descend on the human beings as well. That is why it is being said. Also, the sea tosses itself and breaks itself. Sleepers fancying that he might find on the beach an answer to his doubts. One spends the darkness time to find out when the daytime comes and they will be able to solve their problems, but that never happens. And the chapter ends with this note: almost it would appear that it is useless in such confusion to ask the night those questions as to what and why and wherefore, which tempt the sleepers from his bed to seek an answer. Now, one can see that the life is full of confusions, and these confusions can be resolved if some questions can be answered. It's very impossible that all the time all questions may be answered. It doesn't happen, and that is why the sleeper, Mr. Ramsay, is confused and he is upset, wants to know the answers to certain questions, but he cannot get that. That is why his confusion, his problem, his disappointment increases even more. And in order to let us know what has happened with the sleeper, the writer gives us a note in the parenthesis by saying, Mr. Ramsay, stumbling along a passage on dark morning, stretched his arms out, but Mrs. Ramsay having died rather suddenly the night before, his arms, though stretched out, remain empty. So that is the situation right now. That in the life of Mrs. Ramsay, possibility was there that when Mr. Ramsay would open his arms and she would meet him because she was his wife. But now in the darkness, double darkness rather, because Mr. Ramsay has died and the life of Mr. Ramsay has become double dark. He opens his arms thinking that she would come, but his arms remain empty because suddenly Mrs. Ramsay had died. So the death of that lighthouse takes place, the lighthouse of the family, in chapter 3rd, part 2 of the novel. So I think everybody has enjoyed the explanation. Hope to see you in some next video. If you like it, do not fail to hit the subscribe and the like button also. Thank you. See you in some video.